I'm Dean, I'm the dad.
I'm Laura, I'm the mom.
And I'm Krysta, and I'm the daughter.
And together we are
Family
Plot. Very nice indeed. Well, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First, Patreon, which remember, we're doing a special promotion in March.
Almost at the end before, then you just have a couple of days to get in. And if we get 10 new Patreon subscribers
at the $3 level, Chris is going to do artwork for all of them. Yay, Krysta!
Close?
We're at 6?
6? Nice.
Five. We're at 5.
Okay, so we only need 5 more.
Yeah. We're halfway there. Let's see.
We got a couple of days to make it happen.
Yeah, we do. So that's our Patreon. If you cannot do a monthly donation,
boy, do we understand.
Yeah. You can do $1 or $2 through Buy Me a Coffee, a one-time donation. If you enjoy the show, please share it on social media.
Share it with friends.
Share it with family.
With everyone. And if you don't enjoy the show, please keep it to yourself. So what are we talking about this week? Well, we're
talking about someone / something that I owe an apology to. Because I don't know why, but for some reason I have just felt the need to push them away. And before we get too far into this, I want to say, Honey Island Swamp Monster, if you happen to hear this podcast, it's not that I don't like you. We just had other important things to talk about.
Fair enough. Well, tonight we head down to New Orleans, Louisiana, to investigate the Honey Island Swamp. We talk the history of the swamp, the animals and plants that call it home, and then we discuss the Honey Island Swamp Monster, the sightings of this unique cryptid in this very special episode of the Family Plot podcast. For the very last time, this early in the show, we'll be doing Krysta Has a Corner, or Catching Up with Krysta, or both, but they're coming up now.
It's not just any corner, it's Krysta's Corner.
I almost hit that slap button. Chose not to.
Good on you, because next time you hit that slap button, I'm going to be slapping you.
We don't want that.
Respectfully.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the corner. How are we doing?
We are good. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but me and the mouse in my pocket are pretty good.
You have a mouse in your pocket?
Well, when...
Don't bring up the mouse.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Not that mouse, for one. You don't have to worry. And two, whenever someone asks me whether we are doing something, and they're really asking just me, but they use the phrase, I always assume I have, a mouse
in your pocket.
Or some other thing that they would be saying we to me rather than just, what about you?
I see.
We being?
It's like the royal we.
How are we?
Yeah, like that.
But I am fine, and the mouse in my pocket is non-existent, so he's probably feeling poorly.
Oh, that's sad.
I'm hanging in there. How about you, Princess? How are you today?
I am doing good. It has been, it feels like it's been a very long time since I've done this.
I check in with Krysta.
It hasn't been that long, but.
Yeah,
No,
10 episodes is
I was gonna say we hit 10 episodes pretty
regularly.
Yeah.
Every couple of months, a little over like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently it hasn't been much different than most days. I have been watching the Haikyuu again.
Yay!
And that's about it. Update on me and my partner, Sam. Our 2nd month anniversary is coming up here soon. On the 7th of April. Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about that because it's gonna mean that it's my 2nd longest relationship. And that's cool to me.
Cool.
Sorry, my bad. I can't speak today.
You're
Okay.
fine.
Now that we've got all of that out of the way, I don't really have much else to say about me.
Okay, but you're going to tell us about some stuff.
I am going to tell you about some stuff today.
'Cause I'm excited to hear.
So, I have 2 things that I've been working on for class.
Okay.
One is for English, and the other is for competitive drama, but it's a debate thing.
Yes.
So, which would you like to hear about first?
Whichever you want to share with me.
heads.
I didn't pick a head, so we're going with the poem that I'm on.
Okay, sounds good.
So I have 2 poems ready for you guys. The first one is called Beauty of a Sunflower, and the second one is Sweet Treats.
Nice. I like the names.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A good thing about this is that my teacher listened to me read them out loud and also looked at them, and she was just like, "You should be a poet." And I was like, "Oh!" That made me very happy because she's a very strict grader, but
Very nice.
she liked my poems, and that made me really happy. Anyway.
So you're going to share them with us?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I'm going to start with Beauty of a Sunflower. Soon the moon falls and the sun rises. Under the light of the sun, all flowers bloom. Now we meet the brightest of all. Flowers are beautiful, though this one catches my eye most in the field of them. Love of mine, oh so bright, oh so open to the light, why aren't you considered a flower? Your beauty excels most others. Enlighten me, sunflower, why are you considered a weed? Realize that most weeds hold the meaning of disgust. Soon discover that this one is quite unlike the rest.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
And it actually spells out sunflowers.
Wonderful.
Like on the side,
So
says,
it's what is that called? Where it writes it down.
I don't know.
I can't remember
I got no clue.
that type of poem. What that's called? Where it
I am
spells out
Taka
words.
Mishino clue.
Is that a haiku?
No, that's not a haiku.
No, that's not a haiku.
Haiku is 7 vowels, 5 vowels, and 7 vowels.
Smart.
It's not vowels, it's syllables.
Well, yeah, syllables, my bad.
5 poem.
Spells out a word.
A word. An acrostic.
Yeah,
Poem.
an acrostic, that sounds right.
Type of poetry where the first, last, or other letters in a line spell out a particular word or phrase. The most common and simple form of an acrostic poem is where the first letters of each line spell out the word or phrase. Beautiful. An acrostic poem. I like that.
And then the next one is just a free verse.
Freebird, rock on.
No.
Oh.
Free verse.
Free verse, the type of poem. And I did it specifically for my voice of Pinkie Pie.
Oh, excellent.
Which brings up the next thing, but
Yes,
first we're gonna
I love
focus
it.
on.
Okay, so I wanna hear. What did you say? Sweet treats.
Yeah, it's called Sweet Treats.
Listening.
Do you want me to do the voice too?
Absolutely.
This is gonna be a bit difficult.
If you want to. I mean, you need to practice anyways.
Yeah, I need practice, so this is fun. Candies, the sweetest treat. This treat is my personal favorite to eat. Dessert is second best, but here comes the real test. What about fruits instead? Sherbet, fruitcake, strawberry cheesecake. It's part of a dessert, but on its own, sure, bananas and banana bread and apples and a pie. If not dessert, then maybe a sweet, Jolly Ranchers, Laffy Taffy, and maybe even Suckers. But even with all that, still a no. If a fruit isn't a dessert or a candy, what could it possibly be? Fruits are its own type of sweet. Ideas of artificial flavors for the candy comes from fruit, and the fruit serves a purpose in dessert, but in the end, all different and delicious.
Very nice.
That's kind of a fruity poem.
It was a very fruity poem.
He just called the poem fruity.
It was awful sweet.
Super sweet.
It wasn't about Danny and Brian.
Hey, you're.
You called it pretty. I said it wasn't about Danny and Brian.
So I had another one, and it was also about fruit. I had a pun. Since you're making puns, you've opened me up, and now I have my pun. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So Scottish scientists have created a new variation of fruits, and they've done this by combining watermelon with cauliflower. The only problem is some of the people who have eaten this new fruit find themselves with a touch of sadness. They're referring to it as melancholy.
Okay.
I liked it.
You're welcome.
So, my next thing is about this debate thing that I'm doing. It's called a balloon debate. And basically, I'll explain it for the listeners real quick. How my teacher explained it was I and my opponent is playing as a character. It has to be school appropriate, obviously. And we're gonna get a topic to debate about.
Mm-hmm.
14 minutes total is the debate round that we're doing in class. And for me, I chose Pinkie Pie, and my opponent is Britney Spears.
So it should be very interesting and possibly sparkly.
Possibly sparkly, yeah. I'm thinking about putting sparkles in the makeup.
For sure. Lots of pink.
Oh, heck yeah.
So pastel.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to seeing.
Absolutely. I'll do some makeup this weekend. I'll test out some things and I'll show you.
And then next week on our episode, you could tell us how it went.
Yes, absolutely. The resolution is parents should be punished for their children's mistakes. And I have to be against it. He chose against or for, so I have to be against it. I am the opposer. So what I said was, children have the choice of who they stay around. And parents, while they can influence it, do not have full say as to where they go or what they do. Child has own free will and may get punished for what they do, but still doesn't always stop them. Parents are not always able to be in a child's life. Sometimes children have different caretakers due to law or decision. A child introduced to the internet may do things that they see on there. For example, school fights, drugs, starting random drama, stuff like that.
Yep.
The internet is not always the parent's choice. phones, iPads, computers, and ECT can be given to children by cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and many others. Children can be taken away from their parents for uncleanliness, not having funds for food / shelter, and this proves that it's not always the parents to take the blame. And then they said dig dirt on your opponent. Two things that I have so far is, one, you hit someone because of your postpartum depression. What does that have to do with your parents? Or what do your parents have to do with that? And then the second thing is, you blamed hitting a paparazzi's car on two completely different things. That has nothing to do with your parents either. That was on you completely. Because the first one she said was method acting, and the second one was also postpartum depression.
That's pretty good.
Very nice.
I would also throw in there, and you don't have to, definitely do your research, but I want to say that Britney Spears is the one that was under her father's financial guardianship up until her 30s or 40s.
Up until just a
couple of months ago. And in that case, even all of the bad things that she did while she was under his guardianship, he couldn't stop those bad things. So that makes her a case study of why it is very obvious that punishing the parents for the child's wrongdoing is definitely not the way to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hold on, we're writing things down.
Okay. I can talk to you about that after we record.
Yeah, we can talk about that after we record.
I thought that was something to point out because I think that's definitely valid.
Most definitely. I do want to talk to Mr. Graham about that one.
Absolutely.
So is that Krysta's Corner for this week?
That's it.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we got to talk about is St. Tammany Parish. St. Tammany's Parish was born in 1810 out of a conflict between the West Florida government and the Spanish. The West Florida government was primarily American Southerners, whereas Spain occupied the eastern part of Florida. And there was lots of not getting along.
Right.
And so when the West Florida government basically gave Louisiana all this swamp, right? All this area. And they called it St. Tammany's Parish. It was actually 3 times larger when they originally gave it to them than it is today. But it encapsulates the Honey Island swamp. The West Florida government hated the Spanish and fought against them. In turning West Florida into St. Tammany's, Louisiana created a buffer between themselves and the Spanish. They also got one of the richest swamps in the country.
Nice.
And when you say a rich swamp, I'm not talking there's money in it. I'm talking about just biodiversity, life, all this stuff that comes from a swamp that we don't think about usually.
Absolutely. So that was some great history on the area. Should we take a minute and share some information about one of our fellow podcasts?
Absolutely. Sounds good to me.
Down this road is a small city once thriving and full of life, but now desolate and abandoned. Well, abandoned save for the horrors rumored to reside within, which I presume is why you're here. Now, there's nothing wrong with a little morbid curiosity, but please, remember to stay close to your guides. We wouldn't want anyone to get left behind now.
Hello and welcome to Nopeville, the city filled with all the terrifying and horrible things that make you say nope.
Nope.
We're your tour guides. I'm Jen.
And I'm Christine, and we invite you to join our tours through the city, including all things paranormal, true crime, and supernatural.
From haunted places to possessions.
From serial killers to cults.
From zombies to cryptids.
You can find out more on our website at nopevillepodcast.com.
And catch a tour today wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay. So that sounds creepy,
Yeah,
but
very.
awesome.
Yeah,
You know what? I actually really like that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
lots of nopey nopes.
Nobody, nope.
So much noping.
Nope. I thought there was gonna be a nope rope. You better introduce a nope rope.
All
Ghost.
right.
Nope rope.
So, now we're going to talk about the Honey Island Swamp. Located within Tammany Parish, the Honey Island Swamp is named after one of the islands in the swamp, which at one point was covered in honeybees. Tammany Parish, which was at one point 3 times the size, just like you mentioned, that it is today, is one of the largest, least interfered with river swamps in the entire United States. The swamp is bordered on the north by U.S. Highway 11 and to the south by Lake Borgne.
I think.
Morning.
I should have looked it up. I didn't. My bad.
Borgne, Borgne. So
I think the
if
G
one
is
of our
silent.
listeners can correct me, possibly our former daughter-in-law, she's down in New Orleans, or anyone really, you can feel free to correct me. On the east and west, it is bounded by the Pearl River and the West Pearl River. The swamp is also home to the American alligator, the alligator snapping turtle, the red-eared slider, which is another kind of turtle if you don't know, the western cottonmouth, which is a venomous snake, and the speckled king snake, which is a non-venomous snake. The swamp is also home to the large orange-toothed rodent known as the nutria, also named the coypu, as well as other similar animals like the Virginia possum, the American mink, the raccoon, and the muskrat. The Louisiana black bear, the bobcat, and the red fox all call the Honey Island Swamp home as well. It is also home to bird species like the brown pelican, the red-tailed hawk, the bald eagle.
And for some reason, I put the brown pelican in a second time. I don't know why.
You're fine. The swamp is also home to several fish species like the largemouth bass and the alligator gar, as well as the paddlefish.
I need to see.
Most of the swamp is a permanently protected wildlife area. So definitely a lot of different features of the natural world out there, and they have put in some protection for those animals that live there that have started to become endangered.
Right. And some of the animals aren't endangered, like the nutria. Not endangered. They wish it was endangered. It's what do they call them? An invasive
species.
Yes, it's an invasive species.
I see.
Because I don't remember who, but somebody had brought them to America, had them in cages, and was breeding them.
Mm.
And then a Louisiana, which does get hurricanes, came in and wiped out his breeding area, knocked over all the cages, all the nutria got away.
And they're like rabbits or rats. They just mass produce because they're a rodent.
Yep.
Have y'all seen an alligator gar?
I
No,
have.
What is an alligator
An
gar?
alligator gar is a type of fish.
Wow, that
They
thing
are
is huge.
humongous. They are
Holy
big
smokes.
boys.
That is big.
They can be huge, and they have like sharp teeth, like alligators. I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason they call it that.
Creepy.
Well, and they somewhat resemble them. Their mouth does, anyway.
Yeah, their mouth and their facial structure, I see it.
So let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors.
All right. I feel sponsored.
Well, yay!
Chris is sponsored. I guess I'm sponsored too.
I feel so sponsored that I have an idea.
Okay.
I'm going to read this next one.
All right.
Okay.
The best known denizen
Uh-huh.
of the Honey Island swamp is the Honey Island swamp monster. The beast is also known as the Cajun Sasquatch, the Louisiana Wookiee,
Uh-huh.
and in Cajun French Le Bête
Uh-huh.
Noir, aka the Black Beast in English. It is usually described as being around 7 feet tall with gray or yellow fur. Yellow? Okay. Yellow or red eyes and 4 toes, which is quite unusual for a primate. It is also known for a putrid odor, like the skunk ape we talked about dwelling in Florida swamp. The folk monster is also reputed to be a primate, like beast with 4 toes, first seen in 1963 by Harland Ford. Bro's named after a car. A retired air traffic controller who became a wildlife photographer. Harlan came back to the swamp many times in 1974. He and his friend Billy Mills claimed to discover tracks as well as a wild boar whose throat had been gashed open. Jeez Louise, trigger warning maybe. When Harlan passed away in 1980, Super 8 digital film with what was believed to be the Honey Island swamp monster on it.
They found it in his home. So he has evidence, or did. I don't know what has become of it now. If you do look up the Honey Island swamp monster on YouTube, you'll see it. It's not great quality footage. It's not like the Patterson-Gimlin film, which had such a clear Bigfoot on it. It's a lot more, oh my God, what's that kind of.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Why did
those Super 8 digital film, those Super 8 films were quite the thing.
What was your question?
Why did they call it the Honey?
We said that already. We talked about that. They called it the Honey Island because in the area there is this island that was covered in honeybees, so they named it Honey Island.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
You're okay.
This thing is weird looking.
The Honey Island swamp monster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Since 1963, many have claimed to see and hear the Honey Island swamp monster. Those who live near the swamp have spoken of hearing strange cries in the night, cries that do not sound like any of the local birds or creatures, but rather a louder, more primal cry. One boy, while on a walk through the swamp, encountered a giant gorilla-like creature that stank to high heaven. The creature began to chase the boy, who ran all the way home. He dodged under the barbed wire fence to get on his grandmother's property and saw the creature hung up on the barbed wire as he looked behind him. When he and his grandmother returned, they found a few grayish hairs wrapped around the barbs on the fence and a few 4-toed footprints and nothing else.
Wow.
That's wacky.
One driver, driving to New Orleans late at night, got a flat tire. He began to change the tire when he heard a cry from the nearby swamp. I'm going to guess he was on Route 11, which is one of the borders of the swamp.
Nice. Yeah, that would be a little uncomfortable. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
What is that? That looks cool as heck.
As he was finishing his car repair, the driver saw rustling among the trees and hurried back to the car and drove away. To this day, he believes he almost met the Honey Island swamp monster.
I can see where that would be a concern.
A tourist got separated from her group on one of the Honey Island swamp tours, and there are several. As she attempted to relocate her group, she heard a strange vocalization from the trees nearby. Fearing the origin of the noise, she began to head where she thought her group was when she got a glimpse of a hairy biped with large red eyes. She fled the area and only stopped running when she ran headlong into the man that was leading the tour, who made it a point to taking the tourists out of the swamp. So he was looking for her.
Yeah.
Finally, a local resident parked near the swamp to take a short hike. As he walked, he got a cold shiver down his spine.
Oh.
He felt he was being watched, and soon he felt the ground shake. Looking around, he saw a bipedal creature with gray hair and red eyes approaching him. He did not wait around and ran to his car. He has said many times since that the overwhelming thing he felt from the creature was a desire for him to go away.
He
Yeah.
just wants to
And
live.
he
He's
went.
just like, humans, you better leave. I just don't. I want to be left alone.
Well, sure. I mean, that makes total sense. So many believe that there is no way the Honey Island swamp monster can be real. Local biologists claim there is no physical evidence to support the creature's existence, except for obvious forgeries. Others claim that a circus train wrecked in the swamps near the Pearl River, and the swamp monsters are descendants of the chimpanzees that had been on that train. Still, more claim that the Honey Island swamp monster is merely an urban legend, which is kind of where I would go with it, with the exception of the skunk apes that we talked about in Florida, and the fact that we know now that this whole area was given to Louisiana by Florida. It almost makes you wonder if it's not the same creature.
And that's definitely one of the things that I have thought is that it's the same creature. Also, Falk, Alabama, or Falk. I'm not sure if it's Alabama or Arkansas, but we did talk about the Falk monster.
I feel like it was Arkansas, but I could be wrong.
But that's not too far away either.
It was
Right.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
But that's not too far away either. So it could be the same creature, definitely.
Well, like a relative, like same, like yeah.
So the Honey Island swamp monster has appeared in popular culture quite a bit. Voice actor D. Bradley Baker provided the vocalizations for the Honey Island swamp monster in the Ghost in the Machine episode of Secret Saturdays. It appeared in the show Lost Tapes in the episode Swamp Creature. An episode of In Search of investigated the creature in the episode Swamp Monster. Mm-hmm. In the Bayou Beast / River Ghost episode of Fact or Fake to the Paranormal Files, they examined Ford's Super 8 film and were able to recreate it using a man in a ghillie suit, which is a kind of hunter's outfit. They couldn't rule out the creature's existence, but thought this sighting may have been mistaken.
Fair enough.
The Honey Island swamp creature has also appeared in an episode of Swamp People, in an episode of Monsters and Mysteries in America, as well as in episodes of Mysteries at the Museum and America Unearthed. In 2013, Mattel introduced Honey Swamp, a new character for the Monster High franchise, who was the supposed daughter of the Honey Island swamp monster. Also, the Honey Island swamp monster was given stats in the RPG supplement GURPS, which stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System, Monsters.
Nice.
So, hey, in other words, in basically a D&D-like game, the Honey Island swamp monster was given stats.
Is a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That you can fight.
Yes.
I feel like I feel like a scientist or someone should go there and try to find more than just like the minimum of what they're seeing. Like this could be a real thing, but I feel like I need someone who actually knows what their job is to find the thing and be like, oh yeah, this is a species that we haven't like defined yet.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. When I wrote in there that some people have come to the conclusion that there's no way this thing can be real, there are two scientists that live there, conservation scientists. They study the animals, and they are specifically there for the swamp creatures. And they say there is no way the swamp could support a large predator like the Honey Island swamp monster.
And I don't know how you can say that when we've just talked about all of the different life forms that are making their home in that swamp, up to and including largemouth bass and that fish that we were talking about.
Yeah, the alligator.
The
alligator gal?
Gar. The alligator gar. Yeah.
Those things are huge.
Yeah, they're humongous. They're like as wide as a person.
Those are going to feed huge carnivores.
Like the smaller fish can feed one of the foxes that are there.
Yeah, why are they saying that wouldn't? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
And they also say that a swamp dwelling primate, they would have discovered it by now, and they haven't.
Again, I feel like that's ridiculous. That is just a poo-poo. You know what I'm saying? It's just scientists saying, "Oh yeah, that's not possible." Well, I think.
Meanwhile, they're hiding a little baby of it in their basement.
Yeah, one of those things. That was a good analogy, Chris. It's kind of like, oh yeah, that couldn't be a thing, but yet we know that there's all of these species living there and stuff. Why couldn't it? You know?
I feel like it could be. I feel like they're not.
And
they're scared. They're scared of it.
And see, this takes me back to, and this is why we haven't done Sasquatch. We've done various kinds, but we've never done a Sasquatch episode. Partly because there are so many different varieties, apparently. Although they may just be regional variations of the same thing.
Right.
But in addition to that, I just come to believe that there's no way that these creatures cannot be real. There's way too much anecdotal evidence.
Exactly.
For to be everybody just making stuff up.
Right.
And so I think they're there, but it's like UFOs. I used to think UFOs definitely came from other worlds or were piloted by aliens from other planets. I don't know that I believe that anymore. I believe they may be more dimensional craft. And so I just wonder if Sasquatch hasn't found a way to jump between dimensions or maybe falls between them somehow every now and again. And so there's one in that world's area of the Honey Island swamp, or like you said, it's a skunk ape that is, or a couple of them that occasionally range that far.
Maybe.
You know, I just feel like maybe it's not there all the time, but it visits.
I feel like it may travel places.
Maybe.
Because there are some species that are able to do that. Travel and be able to survive and exist in different territories.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking primates. We know gorillas will do a certain amount of that in some parts of the world.
I also know that I feel like we're not getting enough evidence here. I feel like we need more evidence to make sure that this is actually, a creature and not just
stories.
Yeah.
Right. And,
Like, yeah, I get it. It's on YouTube, but also...
yeah, but YouTube doesn't make it real. I mean,
No, for sure.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
there's
not.
Slender Man videos on YouTube.
That doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's my thing. I feel like maybe the thing that they saw, or back then, was just something that existed in that time. I feel like it may be extinct now. And I feel like it's a possibility that it's like people have seen it because like it's the last of the species, or it's a species that's like running out. But I don't think if it was still able to be existing in that area, I feel like more people would see it.
And that's where science is on it. One other thing that occurs to me about this is we could be dealing with a smarter species, because primates aren't dumb.
Yeah.
Primates are not stupid by a long shot.
Also,
So maybe these things have figured out people aren't exactly trustworthy, and it does its best to stay the hell away from us.
Yeah, I feel like if it knows that a human is living near it, or that people come to visit its like territory a lot, it's going to hide. It's not gonna just stay out and be like, what's going on? It's not a zoo.
Yeah.
It's an actual creature that's like, what? Hey man, what are you doing here? When they get too close.
Yeah, and animals can be surprised. So, and I think that would explain your sightings. They're out hunting or looking for something to eat, and oh God, there's a person over there. I don't like people. I'm going to shake this tree. Go away. I'm big and frightening. Shake the tree, go away. And I could definitely see that.
Literally, hey, little guy.
But I will say that those two scientists who have the conservation experts that live in the swamp, they also live with a Cajun fellow that helps them out.
Yeah.
And all three of them say they've never seen any evidence of the existence of this creature. But again, except with the exception of their Cajun helper, we're talking about people not used to living in the swamp.
Sure.
And their Cajun helper, he's probably Cajun. He may certainly know how to adapt to the swamp. But you're dealing with a creature that probably is aware they're there and is going to do its very best to stay the hell away from them.
I would imagine.
So I'm going to say my final thought is I think the Honey Island Swamp is there, monster is there somewhere, or at least was once upon a time.
My final thought is I'm just going to try really hard to be accepting of the Honey Island Swamp Monster going forward.
Well, we've already done the episode, so he's not likely to turn up again in his own episode. He might make the odd appearance in someone else's. Heck, I'm half tempted to mention Josh Gates or Ernest Hemingway just because they've showed up in the last 3 of the last 6 episodes.
5 episodes, yeah.
So
Man crush.
I was just saying, I feel like mentioning them because they've turned up naturally.
I felt like he had done a thing on Honey Island Swamp Monster, but apparently I was wrong.
No, he did a thing on the Lizard Man of Scape War, but he didn't do Honey Island.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, well, that brings us to the end of our show.
Yeah, I guess it does. Sad but true.
Yes, so it's time to say goodbye to Honey Island.
Bye, Honey Island.
No, do not do that. I didn't have my final say.
Oh, I am so sorry. I thought
Y'all
you
gonna
were...
skip me again?
No, we're not.
Thank you
Krysta,
very much.
your final thoughts.
I think that the honey badgers...
Honey badgers?
Honey badgers...
Honey badgers, I hear, are tough customers.
They are kind of tough customers.
That's what I hear.
I feel like it may be a species that is not like exactly what everyone is saying. I feel like it's either existing and it's trying to hide. Because obviously, like Dad said, they're smart.
Uh-huh.
They're not just gonna let a human be like, yo, what's up? And they're just gonna stand there like, "Wah." No, they're smart creatures that they're gonna actually protect. I feel like it's either there and trying to hide, or, like Dad said, it's like, it's extinct or going extinct.
Huh?
I feel like it is either something A, B, and C. Something that is not exactly what they're saying.
Right.
Something that is just oh shoot. Sorry.
That's okay. Take a deep breath. Start over.
Something that is a different species than what they're saying. It's trying to hide, or it's going extinct.
I like it. She's got several conclusions.
Yeah, but they all make sense, and they do kind of work together.
Yeah.
Something going extinct might try to hide from humans because we're numerically superior, even if it is stronger.
Yep.
So,
Excellent.
yep. And that's our show, really.
That's our show. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thanks for keeping us in the Good Pods Top 100. I was so pleased. We missed a week. We dropped Sherlock Holmes last week. Immediately, we're top. Yeah, we're in the top 50 on all three charts that we usually hit. So that was
That's
nice.
awesome.
We're not at 50. We're in the top 50. I mean, it's like 26, 34, and 37.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah. So it was. Thank you for keeping us up there,
Yes,
even after we took a
absolutely.
week off that we hadn't
Absolutely.
planned on taking.
Yeah, we didn't plan on doing that. Sorry, guys.
Join our Facebook group. Very important. Always happy to see new people. And I love checking into Facebook and finding out we have new members waiting for me to green light them. So yeah, that's very nice. Thanks to Bill Berendt. That last name is spelled Behrendt. Bill is the one that did our theme music. Reason I spell his name is he's available to hire for private parties, events you need music for, or to make music for other projects. So if you need that, reach out to him at billberendt@sbcglobal.net. Also, thanks to Paige Elmore of the Reverie Crime podcast. Paige, in addition to having a great true crime podcast, she also has an addiction to Canva. And Canva, she combines with Krysta's artwork to create some of our own logo art. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige. Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks also to Aaron Gnurk of the Big Dumb Fun Show, who continues to promote us locally. Thank you, Aaron. Join us next week as we look into rather an unusual bit of history, the Antikythera mechanism.
That is definitely going to be interesting.
Very. Bye.